For over 54 years, trash generated here in Santa Barbara has been buried at the Tajiguas landfill. And unfortunately, the landfill is filling up, originally due to reach capacity by the end of the decade. But a new project at Tajiguas is changing all that.
Space is valuable, and there's not a lot of places to build new landfills. So we need to make the most use out of the landfill that we have rather than searching for new places for landfills.
This is why the brand new state-of-the-art waste management facility called the Tajiguas ReSource Center is such an important project. The facility will dramatically increase the amount of trash that is diverted away from the landfill.
So regionally, over 10 years ago, we started having a conversation between the county and our city and Goleta and several other communities about how to address potential landfill closure at Tajiguas and also how to address emerging regulatory requirements that were coming to increase the amount of diversion that were required. Collectively, we developed this project, and again, the county oversaw the building and the management and the ownership of the project.
The ReSource Center was originally established by county staff for reducing our community's dependence on landfilling in the first place. The ReSource Center, by diverting 60% of the waste that comes into the materials recovery facility, extends the life of the landfill by twice as much. The ReSource Center was sited at the Tajiguas landfill after we did an extensive environmental review process. An EIR looked at 3 different locations for a lot of the facilities, and it was shown to be the best location. It's not near people, and it's at an existing landfill or has already been used for industrial purposes.
People tend to think of waste as this linear process. They finish their albacore or their drink and they throw it in the trash, and it's out of sight, out of mind, and it goes into a landfill and it's buried. And the ReSource Center is a huge game changer because it turns that linear process into a cycle where we take their apple core, we process it, we turn it into energy, we turn it into compost. We take their drink can and we turn it into a new drink can or other objects. And this is just vitally important because we need to process our materials more responsibly. The reason we say reduce first and reduce, reuse, recycle is people should buy fewer things. But we're addressing the third step, recycle. We're taking more of the materials that people use every day, and we're finding ways to recycle them.
The ReSource Center increases our local recycling rate to over 85% and generates new resources like green energy and compost. Compost is made at a special site at the ReSource Center called the anaerobic digester. So how does this work?
You throw away your trash, goes into a truck. That truck comes up here and it dumps the materials onto the tipping floor of the materials recovery facility. Then 2 large machines pick that waste up from the ground and put it into another big machine that grinds it and cuts it up. And then from there, it goes into different filters that separate large from small, heavy from light. And then the very last step is humans then separate anything that maybe some of those machines mixed. So we separate plastics from aluminum, from newspaper, from cardboard. Anything that's not organic goes into the landfill. Anything that is organic goes up to the anaerobic digester. That organic material is then mixed with green waste. It's put inside of a bunker for 2 30-day processes. During that time, it gets a bacteria-infused liquid sprayed on it, which digests the material. The product of that digestion is methane, which we capture, and it also creates a digestate, which we then spread across a long area out into the sun, where it dries over a period of time. Once it's dry, we then filter that material for anything that just bits of glass or plastic that might be in there. And that final product is compost, which can then be used in agricultural areas.
Perhaps the most unique aspect of the new facility is that it creates renewable energy from methane gas.
The ReSource Center has 3 different sources of renewable energy. It has solar panels on the tops of all the buildings. It also extracts landfill gas and generates electricity from that. And finally, the anaerobic digestion facility portion of the Resource Center processes organics, creating biogas, which is methane, and that also generates electricity. It's enough electricity to have the facility entirely self-sufficient, plus electricity to power about 3,000 homes. The Resource Center is an incredible source of renewable energy for our community, but probably the most important thing is it's the single largest project that reduces greenhouse gases. It reduces greenhouse gases by the equivalent of 28,000 vehicles on the road every year. It's over 117,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in reduction. And that reduction is done through renewable energy. It's done through an increase in recycling. So it has a lot of different ways that it reduces greenhouse gas impacts.
So the Resource Center fundamentally changes how we manage materials here in the city of Santa Barbara. So it's a tremendous project and investment that all the residents and businesses in the city of Santa Barbara should be incredibly proud of.